Hello all, this is Barbara Mann from Your Empowered You, and welcome to our video on the difference between knowing when to make a career transition, a job change, or are we just bored in our current job. So in any kind of position, we want to feel engaged, inspired, good, pumped up, not dreading the Monday morning blues, things of that nature. We want to really, feel like we're making a difference. It's all those things about being engaged at work and aligning with your core values and feeling like you're making a difference, feeling like you're aligning with your purpose, things of that nature. So we're going to be talking about when we're ready to actually make a career transition or a job change, or a lot of times many people are just frankly bored at work and they sometimes confuse about doing a huge change at work when really they're just bored and need to be more engaged. So let's talk a little bit about what are sort of those common feelings when we're ready for a career transition or a job change, meaning just you're in the same field. So more of a career change, sometimes people get the feeling that their core values aren't quite aligned with what they're doing, whether it be maybe with the company or the position. Their true passions lie somewhere else, like something that they feel that they're really meant to do in life is somewhere else. It's not in the position that they are in right now. And maybe their priorities are shifting. Things like maybe they have family duties that they need to take care of. Maybe they want to be a franchise owner. Maybe they want to be self-employed. Maybe there's just things that they're seeking that aren't quite aligned with their current position. That's more of like a big career change. So it's a little bit different with being bored because you're thinking about, again, something that's completely different than you're doing. And we'll talk about how you kind of go about making that decision and what we need to do to prepare for a career transition. But some of the feelings about job change, like this is something that you're actually in the company and maybe you just want something different within your own organization and just a job change. And there are things that that you're ready. You're seeking out promotions. You're kind of thinking about the next step. Maybe you're looking at other departments and kind of spreading your wings. Again, that's a little bit different than an actual career change. This is just a job change. You want to spread your wings, get little ants in the pants, and you know that you've mastered your current position and you want something new. We all like to seek out new things. So a job change within the company, again, you're looking around, you're scanning the horizons on promotions and other departments. And outside the company, maybe you want a job change. Maybe you don't like your organization. Maybe you want to look for something with a different culture, like the culture of your current organization is dragging you down. And you're looking outside the company for a culture that's more aligned to what you sort of resonate with, and maybe you're looking for additional growth opportunities outside your current job. So these are things that you still like your job, but maybe there's something that again you want to expand it and move within your organization or move outside your organization to align with some of your core values. So how do you go about creating the career path for either a career transition or a job change? So for a career transition, I actually have another free resource on video on career transition, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but some of the key things: do your homework. Someone just can't just quit their job, obviously. Maybe you can, maybe you're in a position to do that, but do your homework. Understand some of the impacts that you will have, such as financial impacts. So if you just quit your position, how are you going to pay the bills? What about benefits? What about health care? Things like that. Think about the time frame. How much savings do you have to kind of carry the family if you don't have your income coming in, or do you have health care covered? Maybe it's under your spouse or partner. But those are things to take into consideration. Are you going to need additional education, certifications? Again, there are things to think about when you seriously make a career transition. Feel free to check out my video on those career transitions. But you really got to do your homework. You really got to plan to do this and not just jump ship and and make a career change. It's something that requires a lot more thought. It's exciting, very exciting, it can be exhilarating and all that. You just need to plan a little bit, be prepared, and not be afraid of the fear of the unknown, because sometimes you can have the greatest plans in the world and they don't pan out that way. So you kind of have to be you have to be comfortable in that uncomfortable zone. So how do we create the path for, say, a job change? So that's an easier one. So if you have a job change within your company, the first thing is advise your manager that, hey, I'm ready for a promotion, so they can help you be ready for the next promotion and kind of get the word out that you're ready, and you can talk to different people. Maybe it's somebody in a different department, and they can kind of guide you on how to go about those kinds of promotions. Another idea is to seek out a mentor. Mentors are great within an organization. It could be a mentor that is within your own department. It could be outside your department. But seeking out a mentor is good when you want a job change, because they're planting seeds. They're giving you an idea of how to go about doing your next career step. But what they're probably going to tell you is that you want to seek out learning opportunities wherever they may lie. It could be within your own department. It could be in another department. They may advise you to shadow with somebody, shadowing with someone or with a position that you think is your next step. Shadow with that person. Ask them questions. You don't have to shadow for days on end. It just could be one day. But make sure you get the word out. The bottom line is you want to get the visibility and kind of get your name out so people know who you are, instead of just applying for a position, they don't know who you are. You want to get your name out and you want to get that visibility, which brings us to the next thing. Get involved in special projects. Again, special projects with different groups of people are fantastic ways for you to learn maybe about some sort of improvement plan that's going on, some sort of process that they're looking for people to help them to implement. Maybe they're looking for trainers. You don't know, but get involved with some of these special projects for visibility. But those are great ways to sort of carve that path for job changes within the organization. So now let's talk about when we're just bored at work. I mean, this is very, very common. You've mastered the position, and you're getting little ants in the pants, and you're getting a little disengaged, and you get a little cranky, and you're a little dissatisfied, and you maybe even a little irritable. What I've noticed is that people confuse boredom with maybe needing, they think they need a career or job change. And it may not be that. It may be that you just need to be a little more engaged at work and maybe balance out. Maybe you actually, you mastered your position, but maybe you actually like it, but you're craving something different. You want to learn something. So I have on my PDF power slide, the cure for boredom is curiosity, because people do like to learn new things. But this becomes important on being engaged at work when maybe there's no promotional opportunities. Maybe it's a smaller organization and there aren't any promotional opportunities, or maybe there's some downsizing going on. I know that the economy is fantastic right now, but one time or another in our careers, we're probably going to experience a downsize. So in these kinds of situations, it's imperative that we still be engaged at work, we still be very productive, and regardless of the size of the organization, even if you're in a small company, you still want to maintain that engagement. So how do you do that? Here's my advice. Don't wait to be asked. Seek out and create opportunities. Create them yourself. If they're not there, and you say, well, my organization doesn't really have anything, then create them. Get involved with some sort of employee resource groups. Those are usually in bigger types of organizations, but get involved with that. Don't just join it. Get involved with an employee resource groups. Get involved with a special project. I mentioned that on making a job change, but getting involved in projects keeps you active, keeps you fresh, it keeps you engaged. Create an improvement plan. Maybe you see something that isn't quite working right, and you have some sort of suggestion. So create an improvement plan. Work with your manager on how you go about doing that and gain some traction. Maybe volunteer for community involvement. Most organizations have these types of activities, whether it's a large one or a small one. Volunteer or organize some sort of community involvement project for your organization. Maybe become a mentor or a trainer to new employees. This is really a good one, especially for folks who have mastered their jobs and they want to make sure that they have an impact in helping people who are newer to the organization. It also helps with, especially if you're a great cultural fit, making sure that people understand the culture of your organization. But becoming a mentor or a trainer is fantastic if you're bored at work, because it really keeps you it keeps you fresh. You have to, like, you're responsible for training this person. It's a big responsibility. Like a job change, seek out a mentor. Mentors are great to kind of keep you engaged, because what their role is really to kind of plant some seeds. Some ideas you may take, others you may not. That's not really the point. The point is to kind of plant seeds, and whatever resonates with you, let that grow and foster. And the bottom line is to seek out as many learning opportunities with your team, with other departments, as much as possible, because again, the more that you learn, the more that you stay fresh, and the more that you stay engaged. And that's really the key. Is you may not need a job change, you may not need a career transition. When you're bored, you kind of know that feeling when you're bored and being disengaged. So seek out those opportunities. The bottom line is, do not wait. When you start getting cranky at work, figure out why you're cranky. Is it just boredom? Do you like your job? Do you like your manager? Do you like the culture? If all those are yeah, it's probably that you're just disengaged. And there's a plethora of things that you can do to make sure that you are engaged at work. I want to touch briefly on managers in dealing with employee boredom, because managers definitely need to be aware when their teams are bored and they're not engaged. That's a problem. We shouldn't be waiting for it to come to that state. Managers should be one step ahead of this. And how do you find out? Regular meetings with people, one-on-one. So hopefully all the managers have at least monthly meetings, one-on-one meetings with their employees to do check-ins. It's important to do check-ins. The other thing is when you're walking the floor, you can tell if someone is not engaged at their position. But a manager should be always providing learning opportunities, some options you discuss during weekly meetings. Maybe you ask the team for ideas. Again, plant seeds, make suggestions, have others make suggestions. The whole thing is keeping people engaged. Do not wait until they become cranky and disengaged and maybe thinking about leaving the organization when they're great employees. A manager has an obligation to make sure people are engaged in their jobs. Okay? So what are some positive impacts when you properly deal with job boredom from employees' perspectives? So, once you fuel your curiosity and you become engaged, that boredom just subsides. There's so many positive impacts. You just feel better. You feel like you're making a difference. You're aligning maybe your core values and your passions with maybe organizing things at work. You start loving your job again, even though you've mastered it. Maybe you don't need another job. I've seen this many times before where people just fall in love with their job again, because again, they're balancing their actual position and then maybe something else. They have time to do something else that helps the organization, that helps them. You also have visibility from others, and you're seen probably as a leader or taking charge of your own career path and happiness. That's huge. You don't see that very often in employees. You really don't. So if you become one of those people, it is going to create some sort of promotional opportunity or more learning opportunities for you. You may be seen as a change agent, because maybe your creativity is in the form of creating improvement plans and implementing improvement plans. That's a change agent. So you may be seen as a change agent. Um, and and the last thing is you may be able to assist others in the same situation. So if you're an employee who's dealt with your own type of boredom and sort of took accountability for it and started, finding things to engage yourself, you may see the same things in another person and offer assistance, and that's huge. That's huge to help somebody else in the same situation. But when people start seeing an employee take charge of their own sort of disengagement and they do something about it, I'm telling you, that's gold for an employee and their future. So let's wrap this up in a bow. So we talked about really understanding the difference between when you really are ready for a career change, when you're ready for just a job change, and when you're just bored and you need to be a little more engaged at work. There are overlapping feelings for each of these categories, but there's also distinct differences. So understanding these differences will let you know, hey, is it really a career transition? Is it just a job change within my organization, maybe outside my organization? Or do I just need to be more engaged at work? Again, very different. Some of these things have the same paths, some of them have different paths. We talked about how to understand the approach for career transitions, which takes some planning. We talked about the approaches for job changes and dealing with boredom and disengagement at work. And some of these things have similar plans of attack and some of them are different, But the bottom line is, for any of these career transitions, job changes, disengagement at work, don't wait and continue down your current path because you're going to get cranky, you're going to get disengaged, you're going to get irritable. Change the path. Don't wait to be asked. Don't take the path of crankiness and people thinking that, you're a negative Nelly. It might just be that you need to change. Change it. And again, the cure for kind of that crankiness and boredom is curiosity. If you need to make a career transition, do some homework, do it. If you need to make a job change and you're ready for the promotion, get the word out. Most likely something will come your way, especially if you're taking charge of it. If you're just bored, tell your manager. And I didn't talk about that, but tell your manager you're bored. They'll provide like some ideas of keeping you engaged. And managers, hopefully you don't have people approaching you. You should know already what is going on with your team. So I hope you've enjoyed our video on understanding the differences between wanting a career change, which I have an additional resource on my website for that, whether we need a job change or whether we just need to be more engaged at work. And for additional resources or to schedule a session with me, please visit my website at www.yourimpoweredyou.com. Or you can visit my website, or you can email me, at bman@yourimpoweredyou.com, or you can call me at 916-633-2555. And I thank you very much and have a very empowered day.